Welcome, everybody, to the Jive Sports Football Podcast. I am once again, unfortunately, Brandon, and I'm here with my very endearing, very soft-spoken co-host, Zachary D. Ketchum. We just snuck in another one. Week 2 of the NFL is upon us. However, we got a bit wordy. We got a bit run-on sentencey when it came to recapping the Week 1 games, and there was a few that we felt had to have their own kind of little time slot. So what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be going over 4 certain games, briefly, but still enough to get our point across. That would be the Philadelphia Eagles and the Dallas Cowboys, actually the season kickoff that we happen to miss. We're going to be going over our local Detroit Lions and the friends across the pond, the Green Bay Packers. We have Game of the Year, Game of the Century, already ESPN Classic, Buffalo Bills versus Baltimore Ravens. Caleb Williams and the Chicago Bears fell to the Minnesota Vikings, and we'll get into that as well. And then we have our Week 2 picks. Zach, how are you feeling? Hi.
I'm doing well. Brandon, how are you today?
I'm doing incredible. I kind of keep peeking over here because I have a split screen right now, and you said, hey, just so you know, before we get into Week 2, I just looked at it, and it's a bit dicey, and I'm looking at it, and
It's,
there's some coin flips there.
I
It's
mean,
actually, we're going to
every
get into
single
that.
every single game this weekend, I don't have like a really strong opinion. There might be one or two, but every single game is like pretty evenly matched.
Yeah. Really interested to get into it. So let's just start off right away, Zach. We totally skipped over Spitgate. We totally skipped over my Philadelphia Eagles against your friends down in Dallas, Texas, the Cowboys. How did you feel about that? How did you feel about both teams? How did you feel about the Parsons list Cowboys? How did you feel about everything?
Well, I mean, the the biggest story coming out of that game was obviously the way it started, right? Because I, you know, en- enough can't be said about how stupid people can be sometimes. You got to be smarter than that to know that the entire world's watching. I mean, the
Entire
first
world.
game of the season between two division rivals, and
The
who I
Super
don't
Bowl
know what,
champion, probably the most
right,
popular team in the league, the Dallas Cowboys. Like,
and obviously because of the Micah trade, the Cowboys have been in the news quite a bit. That's been the main topic of discussion to get us to the season because news can be a little slow uh, before the season starts. But yeah, I mean, we both picked the Eagles to win. There was no surprise there, but I guess the other main story is that the Cowboys played them pretty close. And at one point in the game, I texted you because you were kind of quiet, and it was because the Cowboys were leading for a good chunk of that game, and Eagles pulled it out. I mean, I was never really worried. I knew that the Cowboys would find a way to lose, but pretty interesting game overall.
Yeah, so again, there are so many storylines, and I can't believe we skipped over because, obviously it starts with Jalen Carter, who, he fell in the draft, I think, to number 9 at the Eagles, and he was, I think a lot of people were saying he was the best, overall player in his draft, right? But he fell because of character concerns, Georgia Bulldog type beat, right? And he tends to act a little immature, so then he does that, right? And it's like, what are you doing, right? And then it later, they eject him from the game and later fine him exactly 1 game check, and then also say that served as his suspension, right? But my phone was going up with that, like come on, like your player can't do that, dirty players, right? And then it was right about it was right about halftime or maybe the weather delay. It was like there was like the Zapruder film came out. There was a second shooter on the
Yeah.
grassy knoll, and they're like actually Dak spit on the ground in front of him or whatever, and people were like, did he spit at him first? It
Oh
was
no.
complete. It was completely stupid. Jalen Carter was hilariously in the wrong. He shouldn't have been near the huddle. But without him, our legendary pass rush definitely fell off a little bit, right? And I'm of the firm believer, and this is crazy because I do hate the Dallas Cowboys and everything they would ever stand for, but I'm a Dak believer. I'm a Dak apologist, and he played better than his stat line showed. He played better than the box score showed. CD Lamb, I think, had 3 or 4 drops that are very uncharacteristic of him. I think if those go differently, we might be singing a different tune right here, and we might have got punched in the mouth. But we survived, and also Jalen Hurts looks again, I watch every single snap of every single Eagles game. He looks spry. Literally the last year and a half, he's ran heavy. He's ran pretty slow. He looks like a completely different quarterback. And if you don't watch every single like if you don't watch him like I do, you might not see that. He looks like a completely different quarterback this year already. So at least when it comes to mobility. So
And I guess since that game, they signed Zadarius Smith,
hmm
and then they just traded for Tank Bigsby. I don't understand it, how they have how Howie Roseman is able to do this. You know, it's insane.
it's absolutely insane. He's definitely the most active GM I think in the league. He's constantly doing stuff, and sometimes it doesn't always work out. He actually was years back. I mean, he tend to outthink himself. I mean, there's the classic: we took Jalen Rager over Justin Jefferson, and you can be like, hey, what would it look like, because you don't know what moves happened post that and how it all would have played out. But he tend to overthink himself. Now he just GM stuff, and I'm sure we're probably going to find the other thing that terrifies me is corner depth, and I'm sure he's going to find a solution for that, or Vic Fangio will find a rookie or a second year to be able to step in there. So I'm feeling okay. I'm feeling okay coming out of that week and entering week 2, which we'll get in.
Yeah.
So
On to the
then
next one.
we segue pretty cleanly into let's talk about the the Detroit Dan Campbells and their corpse of an offensive line and the spirit of Jared Goff against the Green Bay Micah Parsons. Um, you have an opinion of this. I have an opinion of this as well. We kind of touched on it prior to the season. I'm very much not, and I know usually I let you go first, but I'm very much not like a toxic fan, and very much like hang the banner when I'm right. But I feel like I'm kind of right in this aspect, and I've had some good banter with people. I'm a dad. I was at the bus stop this morning, and they're all Lions fans, and this is the first time I've been at the bus stop this season to talk football, right? And I told them what I thought and prior to the season, and what I think now, and they echoed my concerns, which would be and you kind of led this off, right? Dan Campbell isn't an X's and O's coach. He's a culture coach. He's a rah rah kind of coach. And then just like the Eagles have with Sirianni, right? So I see it firsthand. And when you tend to lose the coordinators, people tend to downplay how important coordinators are because they're literally the people that are telling the players what to do during plays. And football tends to have plays, and their offense looked pedestrian. Their offensive line, I know, has gone through a retirement, and they switched a rookie, like I think right guard or left tackle to center. I know all of that's going on, but it just looked completely toothless. They looked out of their depth. They're down. They're losing. The game script has switched, and they still run it up the gut 3 different times, or they do screen passes behind the line of scrimmage. Goff was running for his life, and I think I dropped this on you, but Jared Goff, when he's under pressure, he's the 29th quarterback in QBR, and when he has time to throw, he's second. And they did
Interesting.
not even real. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, right? And they could not even. This is against. He played snaps, but he played like 40% of the snaps. This is with a Micah Parsons list Packers almost. I mean, yes, he was on the field, but he was not in tune with the scheme yet. He was there for about 72 hours until they
He,
dropped him,
he
right?
there's with Micah, there's no scheme. Go hit the quarterback. That's you know.
So they're only going to get better, is what I'm trying to say. They're only going to get better. I could not be more high on the Green Bay Packers right now. I'm not I'm not panicking. I'm not pressing the panic button yet on the Lions, but there's cause for concerns. What are your thoughts?
Well, I'm not gonna beat a dead horse here. I've mentioned my opinions about the Lions several times since we started this, but obviously a lot of our mutual friends and people that we uh, associate with, most of them are Lions fans. And what's interesting that I don't understand sometimes is this idea that if you criticize or have an unfavorable opinion of something, that means you must be, you know, this false dichotomy is created where if you don't like the Lions, then you must be a Bears fan or a Packers fan, or a Vikings fan or whatever. I'm a we all have opinions about if you're a fan of football, you have an opinion about every team, even if you don't watch them,
Hmm.
because you can't help but be aware of the scores and highlights and whatever, because it's always a topic of conversation who performed well and uh, the outcomes of games and who's doing what, when, and where, because everything is everywhere all the time. Uh, but Dan Campbell, you know, he's a guy you could have a beer with. Obviously, he's the players love him, but that love can fade quickly if all of a sudden you're losing games and the same little rah rah speeches aren't working. And I'm not gonna get too out of control and the Monday morning overreaction. I did find it kind of funny that this morning actually uh, I missed it because I don't really care about ESPN too much, but they had a little segment where they were asking, "Is Dan Campbell the problem?" Interesting.
Mm.
So I'm not gonna uh, I don't know. I'm not gonna overreact to this situation. The Packers might be to know for sure who's what yet because we had 1 week, and I Ashley has become a Lions fan over the last couple years, and she knows more about players now than I do because she watches all those reality shows. She watches Hard Knocks. She watches the quarterback stuff on
Yeah.
Netflix, wide receiver stuff. So she's always talking about these different players, and now she's got her favorites and stuff. Even she noticed that when the Lions were on offense, that basically it was all screenplays and little they didn't have time to throw deep, and I feel like, the new coordinator was, John Morton. He was attempting to try to go back to what was working for them the last couple years, which is run the ball a lot, set up the play action, but it just never worked because they couldn't run the ball effectively, and when you don't run the ball effectively, then, your play action's not very,
Yeah, yeah, there's nothing to fear. I mean, like,
so it's 1 game. They have a tough one this week, maybe. I'm not really sure if the Vikings won that game against the Bears or if the Bears lost it. So this will be another kind of a gut check how they perform against the Vikings because I mean the Vikings looked pretty rough for about 3.5 quarters the other day.
pretty darn rough, which we'll get into in just a minute. I'm gonna plant my flag here. I saw I I saw the so Eagles make the Super Bowl in 2022, and they're a sketchy call away from winning it, right, against the Kansas City Chiefs, right? Our coordinators get poached, 100%, right? Shane Steichen goes, whatever. Jonathan Gannon goes, that's fine. We get two new coordinators. The roster stays essentially the same. 2023, I watch every single snap. I'm reading all this analysts, all this kind of stuff. Eagles start like 7-2 or 8-1, and everybody's like they're a really good team. And Zach, I'm watching, and I'm like they're not a good team. They're not a good team. The coordinators are not good. We had Sean Desai, I think, from the 49ers, but then Matt Patricia also in like a supporting role, which is crazy. But the biggest thing was that we had Brian Johnson, who's our quarterback coach, who Coach Hurts for pretty much his entire life since high school, right? He got the bid for offensive coordinator. And I'm watching it and I'm like, we are not a good team. We are not a good team. We're simply surviving because we have an all-star offensive line, because we do have a quarterback that can win games, and we have some good pass catchers and all this kind of stuff. But the bottom's going to fall out. And it did immediately. Like we
Yeah.
were in one-score games, and then we got punched in the face by the Bucks, and we were on a downward trend. And then we switched coordinators, and then we got back and we won the Super Bowl, right? But I see it's the exact same vibes in Detroit right now. Their roster is too talented to not win enough games and give people hope, which is dangerous because it's not going to call for any sort of real change. This Kevin Morton guy or whoever the defensive coordinator is,
John.
they're going to. Sorry, oof, that's tough if I don't even know his name, right? He's gonna survive because of the team's super super good, but there's gonna be a lot of big question marks. Like I'm not hot taking, but I've seen this song and dance before, so that's my hot take. And usually I'm just a guy who sits back and lets you talk.
Well, I
And now
mean, I've already said a a couple different times that Dan Campbell. I question his situational awareness He doesn't seem to really I was texting people too because, the first time they got down in the red zone, instead of going for it like they normally would, they kicked a field goal. I said, "What happened? You're kicking field goals now?"
Whole, I don't know, man. It's different. It's different in all the ways that it shouldn't be, and it's the same in all the ways that I don't know. It's just strange. So let's go on to if the two teams that are going to beat the Lions or the Eagles, whoever makes it to the Super Bowl, the Buffalo Bills and the Baltimore Ravens. Um, this is I actually got my haircut today, right? And this is I've been going to a new barber since probably like March or April. It was definitely after the football season, right? So this is the first time I've got to like stand in like a barbershop experience with these guys and talk football. One's a Bills fan, one's a Bears fan, one's a Lions fan. I'm an Eagles fan. It's a good dynamic, right? And I was literally I was talking to them and I was just I was just feeling I was just feeling it out, and I'm like, did you guys know you can watch that entire game? Somebody was like, "Hey, I stopped after the third quarter." We were joking about how fans left the game, like Bills fans were leaving, right? And I was joking about how the NFL uploaded the entire episode already. Episode, that's weird. The entire game already to YouTube. They don't do that. Like, they don't do that immediately. Like, usually they wait till after the season, sometimes a year after, maybe for special occasions, like midway through the season, a few weeks later. Like, they uploaded it like the night after because they're like, this is already like an ESPN classic
Yeah.
because the Ravens looked really, really good. 230 yards on the ground. Derrick Henry's aging in reverse, and he's doing stuff like he did back in Tennessee, like stiff arming grown men into the ground and turning them to dust. Lamar Jackson being the most frustrating person to watch ever because he can just escape like you're playing against your buddy who knows too much in Madden. And then, obviously, the Buffalo Bills step up and they do their thing. And I think the Ravens had like a 99% chance to
Mhm.
win. And then Josh Allen does Josh Allen things, and I want to know your opinion on this and which one of these teams is winning the Super Bowl because one is, right?
Yeah, so as I'm watching that game and the Ravens, were just dominating. They could do no wrong. Um, they were unstoppable. And I was just like, I feel a lot better about about my pick. And then I mentioned the last show that sequence of events where the Bills were on the first to go from their own two, sneak, handoff, sneak, touchdown, to make it a one score game. That's where I was like, how the fuck did we get here? I'm watching it, but we get there and I'm like, how did this happen? How did it get? Because the score was 40-25, but it felt like it was worse than that because
Yeah,
they
because of
just
the way they got
scored at
there.
will, and
Yeah,
the Bills had to put together longer drives, and then Derrick Henry uncharacteristically fumbles, and I said, "This is fucking nuts. Am I gonna? How do I feel about my pick now?" Uh, but the one good thing that happened was is I had like a three TD scorer parlay, and the that pass that went miraculously to Keon Coleman in the back of the end zone got me
great.
the dub. Uh, but just a phenomenal game. Um, I was. It's hard to say that you're impressed by anything that Josh Allen does now because he's already proven for the last 4 or 5 years that he's a freak of nature. I'll keep joking with you because you got him on your fantasy team. I'm like, he's got to be due for something bad to happen, but
You'd
he just
think,
seems
but
he's just Superman, And watching him and Lamar battle it out like that, uh, I could watch that every single day and then not get tired of it.
it's the millennial, classic quarterback matchup, right? That we're gonna look back in a few years, and be like, remember when we had that? This is also just before we go. This is one of those games that entering it, Ravens fans' expectations for their team very high. Buffalo Bills fans' expectations, right? Both very high. This is, I just got goosebumps thinking about it. This is one of those rare games that I think expectations were super high, and I think both fan bases come out of it, win or loss, feeling maybe even better. like maybe even better because yes, the Ravens lost, but it was like it was a Derrick Henry fumble that just sometimes
Yeah.
sometimes that's how things are gonna go. But everybody's like Derrick Henry has to reach a cliff. Doesn't look like it. Right? Is Lamar going to regress? Doesn't look like it. And then the Bills again, it's like you can always like hope and wish, but until you see the product on the field, it's very very hard. Like both of these teams should feel very optimistic going forward, and I literally think it's
Yeah.
just a coin flip about how it went. So
Definitely. Yeah. Them.
both
Them.
terrifying.
I guess we'll see how the Chiefs look, but I think the Chargers are going to be pretty tough, and so the AFC just seems a lot more interesting than the NFC right now.
100 it really does. They like
It's not even
and
close.
it's not even close. We'll get into it in the week 2 picks, but you're very right. You're very correct in that. The AFC just seems like a sexy pick, right? Sexy conference. So then let's end with NFC North, right? We had the Chicago Bears against the Minnesota Vikings. Another almost a tale of two cities here. Almost kind of like it's like I mean, shoot. Oh, okay. It's the Ravens and Bills from Wish.com. Like
Yeah.
literally, like if you want to say the AFC is exciting, the NFC. This was another game to where like the Vikings did not look good through or at least JJ. At least their offense did not. JJ McCarthy, who I'll own it every single day. I was low on JJ coming out of the draft. In Michigan, I did not think Harbaugh trusted him to use his arm. And entering, I think the fourth quarter, he had 56 yards. He had 56 yards. He hit a few guys in the feet. He had a pick six. He had like nothing right was going for him. And the Bears did not look great. A lot of people are like Caleb Williams looks reinvented. They did not look great. That is just simply because the Vikings look slightly worse. And then something happened with JJ McCarthy, and he went ultra instinct, and he's scrambling, and he got that 26-yard rushing touchdown. He threaded it was through like double or triple coverage to I think Justin Jefferson for a touchdown. Like he just looked really really good. It looked like he just came into his own, and they brought home a win. I don't know. Like, I don't know how to feel about either team coming out of this. Like, it's super strange. So that's what makes week 2 even dicier. But I want to get your opinion on it.
Well, I've been high on Caleb and
You said
high
they're
on
gonna fuck
Ben.
them up.
I said they were gonna fuck them up, and I was hoping that the Lions fans would be watching and paying close attention. And I can't understand how they aren't good because it's the same shit every single time I watch them. It's the same shit. But I guess the weird mental gymnastics I'm putting myself through is because when you watch Caleb throw the ball, it's fucking amazing. The slightest little flick of the wrist, it's just a fucking laser beam, and you're saying like once he figures it out, there's no stopping him. But he's not figuring it out. And now there's questions about having a learning disability. Possibly he might be dyslexic, and that might be a problem with getting the play called into him and how he kind of understands it. But I don't get it. I don't get it. So I mean, for right now, I'm I gotta just temper my expectations, putting them in the doghouse for a week or two until they do something impressive in a big game, do something, put up 40 points or whatever. I'm think I'm off the Caleb bandwagon temporarily because I was a little too hasty uh, and believing in the hype, which is something I try not to do. But I don't know. Long story short, I don't know who won or lost this game because the Vikings looked awful for a while. And then I guess there was some situational problems. A punt that was supposed to go to bounds didn't, and I know all about that because of that Eagles game and Matt Dodge. So I don't know if there was just some miscues or what's going on, but uh, I'm kind of numb, I guess, to the whole Caleb Williams Bears thing because I see what he can do, and he's just not doing it
He,
consistently enough.
I'll leave you with two things until we get on to week 2. Right? Caleb Williams throws the ball too hard. Caleb Williams throws. You say that it's a laser. It is. You don't always need a laser. He throws like he hates it. You don't always. You need some touch. You don't have to throw like you hate the sound barrier every single time. There's a statistic that Caleb Williams has 52 overthrown passes in the last season and entering this week. The next player is not even close. Like that's a problem. That's a problem. And then you brag about him having a laser. That has to play into it, right? He's just throwing it too hard. But the issue is that we don't know. So you and I, we're not scientists, but we're rational humans. And I like to think that we look at things logically, right, and rationally. And the entire world is built on math and science. And eventually, if something keeps happening, you change a variable and something different should happen. And I see Bears fans losing their mind because they're like, it's the same as it ever was. It's the same as it ever was because it's the same exact team. You swap out the quarterback, you swap out the offensive line, you swap out the wide receivers, the offensive coordinator, the head coach, the general manager, and it's the same fucking team. It's the same exact team, bro. It's the same team Trubisky led. It's the same team Fields led. It's absolutely crazy. Absolutely crazy.
It's wild. I don't know.
It's actually speechless. Like, we're supposed to be here and we're supposed to have an opinion on it. We had a few days to think about it. I don't even have an opinion on it. We put them on the table for now. We ice them right now until we see what they can do in week 2, which is about the cleanest segue that we've ever had. NFL week 2. We got, this is Brandon. You know this. This is Zach, my friend. We're going head-to-head this season, and we're going through picks. We did our top 5 picks last week after doing the overall picks, but I actually like the head-to-head record, and so we're still going to think about a punishment that one of us has to get at the end of the season, because one of us mathematically knows football less than the other.
We would be doing it like once a month or maybe, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, we're doing once a month, right? Yeah, duh. We already decided that. Yes, hurry. So we're gonna go through right now, and we're going off of DraftKings lines, and we're just gonna go pound for pound, game by game, and we're gonna throw out our picks right here. How do you feel about that, Zach?
I do have to correct myself because yesterday when we were going through the picks, I realized that I'm an idiot.
And you thought the Seahawks
I think
won?
because I have JSN on my fantasy team, that because he did well, that means the Seahawks won. But they lost. So I actually went 10-6, and Brandon went 11-5. But for our Fab 5 picks, we both went 2-3, so we're both losers. But I'm more of a loser than he is.
We'll find ways to weight those. That's pretty darn fun, right? So we're pretty evenly matched, which just does not mean that we're both equally smart. We're just both equally dumb, right? So let's go through game 1. This is going to be Thursday Night Football. It is the Washington Commanders at the Green Bay Packers. So if you pull up, you're like, well, you know what? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to set up a 12-game parlay. I'm going to pick every single game, the ones I feel good about, and I'm just going to pay off the house, right? You and I did this right before the show. You're like, have you looked at week 2? And I'm like, I don't think I really have. This is just a barn burner to start off. I don't know how to feel about this one. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to?
Yeah, so like Brandon said, I didn't know what the schedule looked like until like 20 minutes before we just started recording, so I didn't realize that almost every single one of these games is tough. But I'm gonna take the Packers at home on a short week, uh, mostly because they're at home. It's a short week, and the Commanders, they beat my Giants, so I can't. There's no shit I can really talk, but they should have beat us by more based on how bad it looked. Winning 21-6, the Giants kind of held them in check until later in the game. So I'm going to go Green Bay Packers at home on a short week, and that's the only reason why.
I will also go Green Bay Packers at home against the Commanders.
They are a 3.5-point favorite. So
yeah. So I was about to say the spread right there. So I'm also going the Packers. You'll be hard pressed to find somebody who's higher on the Packers than me right now. I'm huffing the copium right now, right? But 3.5, I also think that Packers would win more by that. So if you want me to go crazy and put that on there, I think Packers. It's going to be an exciting game, but I think Packers are going to pull away with it. So I don't know if you want to do spreads or whatnot, but Packers for sure taking this one.
Well, for our Fab Five,
We'll go Fab 5 with the spread. Okay, I
yeah,
like that.
yeah.
But we're both locking in the Packers, which means without a doubt, the Commanders are going to win. So then we're entering. This is crazy. Again, I'm not smart enough to know how the schedule plays out. Two divisional games back to back seems tough, does it not?
No.
I should no, it does not. Okay, that's fine. We have Chicago Bears at the Detroit Lions. Zach, how are you feeling with this one?
Based on our conversation so far today, these are two teams I know nothing about. And so
We don't know what they look like. We don't know expectations.
and I'd be contradicting myself if I said, I want to go with the Bears because I just said that I'm off their bandwagon until I see something happen. I think I'm gonna go Lions at home.
I'm also going to go Lions at home. I just think there's a lot of question marks. There's a lot of question marks. However, Lions have been here, done this before, and I do think they have the overall more talented roster. So I'm going to go Lions right here. The spread is 5.5 as well. Obviously, favorite Lions. So we're both locking in Lions. Eventually, we're going to have to be contrarian. Eventually, we're going to have to separate. It's not going to be this game. We have the Buffalo Bills at the New York Jets at your famous MetLife Stadium. How do you feel about this?
I had to eat crow for my Jets take about them not being able to score. I'm not sure if that's going to continue. I I'm I don't believe in Justin Fields as a quarterback, and I don't believe in the Jets as a team. They did have they gave the Steelers all the Steelers could handle, but I think the obvious choice there is the Buffalo Bills.
I'm also going to go the Buffalo Bills.
Don't try to be all dramatic like you're thinking about the Jets.
Am thinking about the Jets. So here's all I can think about. Like here's all I can think of. I understand. I'm gonna sound stupid right now. I'm gonna sound stupid because I understand it's Derrick Henry and I understand it's Lamar Jackson. But it's tough when a team can put up over 200 rushing yards on another team. Okay, and the Jets' running game against the Steelers was really good. Okay, I'm taking the Buffalo Bills all day, but there's some smoke here. If there's any sort of bet or line for rushing yards for the Jets, I'd lean that way. It's a 7 point. Bills are 7 point favorites. I might toy around with that, but I'm taking Bills straight up right now. But it's not as dire as you think. And I know I sound crazy right now. I know I sound crazy, but it's the NFL.
I mean, if the Jets put up a good fight against the Bills, I will have to reevaluate the Jets moving forward.
As we all will. So let's go into garbage bowl of the week. We have the New York Giants at the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys minus 250 favorites, giving 5.5. How do you feel, my friend? How do you feel?
The Dallas Cowboys and the Eagles always seem to beat the fuck out of us. Um, the Giants looked absolutely terrible Sunday. Um, but part of me is thinking that the New York Giants are already like in do or die mode. This is critical. I think if Russell Wilson plays bad, they could go crazy and announce Dart as the starter next week. And fuck, I don't want to be crazy, but I'm going to take the New York Football Giants to beat the Cowboys at home.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
Well, I mean,
Really?
on the road, but Cowboys at home.
Yeah. We got what
I
you were
just think
saying.
they have to make something happen, and I'm gonna regret it because it'll probably be like a 38-6, but we'll see. Giants on the road.
That's insane. I'm going soft right here. I'm going safe. Um, the the Philadelphia Eagles are a better team than the New York Giants, and we're like two CD Lamb drops away from losing to the Cowboys. I'm going Dallas Cowboys. Um,
And I think I want to, we all make crazy uh, proclamations and predictions, whatever. I think there's going to be like a Giants defensive touchdown.
I was actually just about to say. Abdul Carter is gonna get a scoop and score. Kayvon Thibbs is gonna strip sack Dak, and then Abdul is gonna scoop and score it. Put money on it. I was thinking the exact same thing.
So this is the first one we're going to differ on. I'm taking Giants, your Cowboys. Uh, Jags, Bengals. What do you think about that?
Jags, Bengals. Bengals are 3.5 point favorites, minus 170. The Bengals should be favored a lot more than that. I don't know why. I don't know why the Jaguars. I don't know why people think the Jaguars are a thing. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. Bengals take this by a mile, and it's not particularly close. The Jags are not a good team right now. They're not a good team. They beat up.
Jacksonville Jaguars win.
This is crazy, man. Jaguars beat the Bengals.
Yes.
Trevor Lawrence beats Joe Burrow.
Yes.
Travis Hunter and BTJ beat Jamar Chase and T. Higgins.
Yes.
Write it down. Write it down. Write it down. The Los Angeles Rams at the Tennessee Titans. I'll take this one straight up. So I'm chalk this week. I'm sorry. I'm chalk. There's no reason. There's no reason the Titans. There's no reason it should be this close. Rams are 5.5 point favorites, minus 230. The Titans are plus 190 money line. All I have to say is the LA Rams have a ferocious pass rush. Cam Ward got sacked 6 times last week. 6 times. It set the NFL record for a number 1 overall pick debut. 6 times he got banged up, and he was a lot closer on a lot of them. I went back, I looked it up. Rams by a million, and I would say if there's any sort of sack over under, we could peek at it. It's probably good. It's honestly probably usually the sack over under lines like 1.5, 2.5. Hammer the over on this.
Yeah, I mean, this is one of the what we would expect to be an easier pick, but we say that and something crazy will happen. But I'm taking Rams comfortably.
Perfect. Glad to have us on the same team yet again. We diverge, and now we're meeting back up in the middle. So now let's go to this one. And I don't want to. No, we'll talk about it, right? We have the Cleveland Browns, the Joe Flacco Browns, at the Baltimore Ravens, coming off the most exciting game in of Week 1, right? 12.5 point favorites. Ravens are minus 850 money line. Just pretty much no money to be had there. The Browns plus 575. What are your thoughts on this game?
It's rare to see in pro football a double digit spread. You see them every once in a while, but it's usually not like that. The Browns defense is solid, you know, but the Ravens offense is so potent. I wish I had more information. But I mean, the Ravens are gonna win this game, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was only like, a 10 point win, like a 30-20 or a 28-17.
It's a divisional game, AFC North. Anything can happen. We saw the Cleveland Browns. I don't know what they entered against the Bengals as, but it was heavy underdogs, and they kept them there. They kept them down, right down to the buzzer, right? I'm taking Ravens, of course. It'd be stupid not to. However, I'm probably going to play with that 12.5 when we get down to the Fab Five spread picks. I'm probably going to tease that. But yeah, we're going Ravens straight up. But when it comes to Vegas and the spread, I don't know. There's something there. We're going to another one. As we get into this, there's a lot of closeness, right? We have the San Francisco 49ers at the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers 4.5 point favorites. New Orleans Saints money line plus 180. That's closer than I think it has any right to be. I don't know if there's some sort of knee-jerk reaction to Brock Purdy being banged up and Kittle being placed on injured reserve. Yeah. I think Niners take this and pretty handily, but those metrics are a little strange to me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it's tough because of those injuries. I think that's why people are a little bit more skeptical than they would normally be. But you can't not take the 49ers.
You can't not,
Even if
right?
Mac Jones plays, I think they should win pretty comfortably.
That's fun. That's fun. That's a fun little thing. Yeah, I think 49ers take this. I think it should be larger, but obviously the bookies know more than us. That just seems a little too close for comfort, doesn't it?
It does. The other thing I would be concerned about, Brock Purdy dealing with a shoulder and a foot issue or a toe or whatever it was. You know, we're not doctors, but what we do know is when people are dealing with an injury and they're favoring one side and they're compensating for some type of pain, it can lead to a much bigger problem. If Purdy plays, uh, be on the lookout. Keep your eye on him because you never know. I think a small issue could be a big issue if you don't give it time to heal. And if I don't know, I just
Especially foot injuries, I feel like.
yeah, because I mean, once you start favoring the other foot or the other leg or whatever, that's how a lot of these ACLs and shit happens.
Look at us. Is this? Are we doctors? Is this an injury podcast? We'll see. We'll see how Purdy survives throughout the week. We have the Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I can't whistle. I try to whistle. Can you whistle?
A little bit.
A little bit. I can't for the life of me. And I've looked up YouTube videos. I've tried the fingers. We don't want to give anybody a clip right there, but like I've tried everything. I can't whistle. So hopefully by the end of the season I've seen Star Wars and I can whistle. That's a personal development. So the Seattle Seahawks at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Steelers are a 3-point favorite, -155. Seahawks +130. It is at it's not Heinz Field anymore. It's at Acrisure Stadium, which means that capitalism is squeezing us all dry and taking away everything we once loved. But Zach, how do you feel about this game?
I it's tough because I like the Seahawks. I took them as who I think would win the NFC West, but uh traveling across the country and how Aaron Rodgers looked last week, you got to take Pitt at home. That's how I mean,
I'm going I'm going Pittsburgh at home as well. I don't think I'm going to be touching that 3-point spread at all. I do think this is more of a coin flip than we'd like to think. I still don't think we know really who the Seahawks and Sam Darnold are. This is a game I think I would want to watch. Like honestly,
yeah.
I might have it up on a secondary TV because I think it's going to answer a lot of questions. It's going to answer, is Aaron Rodgers, like, is he who he looked like against the Jets? And we're going to see exactly who Seattle looks like, right? But I am taking the Pittsburgh Steelers as well. This awesome. Okay, hang on. I can see it coming right now. All season, these Dolphins are gonna fuck with us. All season, these Dolphins are gonna fuck with us. So Zach and I last week, we we took the Dolphins. We took the Dolphins against the Colts straight up. I said something even along the lines of put the 401k on it. It's the easiest bet when they were plus 106, and we saw what happened. They got completely dismantled. The vibes are absolutely rancid in South Florida right now. We're going to talk about the New England Patriots at the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins are favorited. The Dolphins are favorited by 1.5. What do we do with this one, my friend? What do we do with this one?
We take
On paper, of
we take the
course,
Patriots.
you take the Patriots.
Yeah,
Why? Why?
because I mean, I guess kind of like selfishly and maybe like maybe it's like a jerky thing to say, but don't we kind of want to see them implode a little bit? We want to see how bad it can get. And Tyreek Hill just had these domestic violence charges or like accusations. Um, and I think they're just in free fall at this point. And we everyone was high on the Patriots to begin with, and I don't see I don't I don't see how losing to the Raiders really takes anything away from that because the Raiders are probably a really good team. Not really good, but they'll be in the mix for a playoff spot. Um, I think Drake May is gonna rebound pretty well, and if you want to get in rhythm and put up points and get that good feeling, do it on the Dolphins because they're I don't know, not good.
I like what you said. They're in free fall right now, and I'm really trying to. So, like, on paper, right? This is what I was going through last week. On paper, I was like, okay, the Colts can't really name, like, I know they have like Josh Downs and stuff. They got Jonathan Taylor, but then like Daniel Jones, and it's like I'm trying to think about like what else. And then on paper, it's like, but the Dolphins have Tua, like he did the whole national championship thing, and he throws left-handed, and like tank for Tua, and like Tyreek Hill, and Waddle has that cool celebration, and Devon Achane's electric, and I'm like, I'm sold, I really do, like, I'm sold on the idea of what once was and what maybe possibly could be, and I think maybe the books are here as well. Like on paper, I'm like the Dolphins are gonna win, but like you said, like as an agent of chaos, Mike McDaniel entered this season as the first coach to be fired. Let's just fast track it. Let's just
Yeah.
fast track it together. Let Drake May bounce back. If you're gonna bounce back right now, you're circling it, and it's like, hey, Drake May, you want to be an NFL quarterback? You want people to look at you? Daniel Jones just carved these people up, right? You go do the same. We're going. I wasn't on your team until you just said that. I'm bandwagoning. We're going Patriots as underdogs, which is crazy.
That is crazy.
That is crazy, right? There's something there. We're going to Carolina Panthers at Arizona Cardinals. The boring game, the boring bowl.
So boring it might be good. Cardinals at home. Sometimes you get like two teams that are like, but then they
Yeah,
they just have a shootout and it's exciting and everyone gets
yeah. We saw it last
a
week with the
touchdown.
Steelers and the Jets. Yeah, let's go.
But you know, I I said in one of our NFC predictions video, I think it was our first video. I don't. A lot of people think that the Panthers have made a lot of good decisions and they're on the come up and things are looking good and Tet and blah blah blah. I don't think that they're the least scariest team. Well, one of them because there's the Saints and the Browns and I don't know, but they are there at the bottom for me as far as threat level, and they're on the road. So to me, it should be a pretty easy dub for the Cardinals.
I'm going Cardinals at home as well. I put money on the Panthers last week. A fool and his money easily parted. The Panthers are not a good football team. Bryce Young does not look like an NFL starting quarterback right now. The Panthers last year gave up more touchdowns in NFL history than any other team. They do not look to be breaking that trend anytime soon. If they're record breakers, it's completely in the wrong direction. They're gonna broke what they did last year. I go Cardinals, and that 6.5 is kind of looking juicy, but we'll get into that in a minute. But I'm going Cardinals as well. Denver Broncos at the Indianapolis Colts. The Colts 2.5 point underdogs, right? Broncos favorited. I'm taking the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm riding the hype train. And I don't know why. I don't know why. I did not even know until I said it. I like the idea of the Broncos. I love Bo Nix, Cortland Sutton. I think is underrated. R.J. Harvey, of course, Sean Payton, all this kind of stuff. Fuck it. If we're agents of chaos, we gotta lean into it. Give me Daniel Jones at home.
Broncos. I think they played their sloppiest game that they're going to play all year last week, and I it would be crazy for me to think that last week the Dolphins should have cooked the Colts, and then all of a sudden have this different opinion, like, oh, they beat the Dolphins, so now I have to think they're good. We just said that the Dolphins are
You're
shite,
right.
so I'm going
Am I in the ether?
Broncos.
Am I in the ether? Can I switch?
I Sure, why not?
No, actually, no. Wanna what? Lean into it. Lean into the Colts going against one of the best defenses in the league, even though they just beat the Dolphins, who were miscommunicating in the secondary. Still give me the Colts. Whatever. I'm gonna will it into existence, and I hate that. And I can't wait to be here talking with your smug little ass in a couple days.
That's not like something to be like. I'm not going to feel like a genius if a team that a lot of people have, making a playoff run or whatever, beats a team that nobody thought was going to do that. I mean,
You're not gonna feel like you broke the
yeah,
code.
no.
Next up, we have Super Bowl rematch. We have the Philadelphia Eagles at the Kansas City Chiefs. The viewers at home need to know, despite what everything back there says, yes, I'm an Eagles fan. However, I don't like to bet on them. I like to assume the worst before it happens. I am taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this. I am taking the Philadelphia Eagles in this game. Our secondary is questionable. We're very, very thin. Our CB2, we rotate out with a rookie and with Andrew Jackson that I think got kicked out of East Rutherford a year or two ago because he's terrible and he gets cooked all the time. However, Kansas City's missing dynamic playmakers, especially on the outside. And here's one thing that gave me so the Eagles offense. We do have a new offensive coordinator this year, just so you know, just like a lot of these teams do. And I did think our play calling looked pedestrian. And I know that our like AJ Brown did not get a single target until the fourth quarter, right? That was for concern. So I looked into it, though. I looked into it, and people still disrespect my boy Jalen Hurts way too much. Way too much. I said he looked more spry on his feet, but then I did not really look into the passing or whatnot. He only threw to his first read 9% in the first week. That was 33rd. That was 33rd. That was 33rd in the NFL. Okay, Zach Wilson. There's only 33. Zach Wilson took some snaps apparently at Miami, right? That means he's going through his progressions. That just meant that the defensive scheme against us was actually really good. It's no cause for concern. Zig another zag. You take Eagles.
That's all nerd noise. Okay. But I think I have to take the Eagles as well. And it's crazy to think that the Chiefs are going to start 0-2, but the Eagles just have too much, you know? And without Worthy and without Rasheed and Pacheco, they're running. Pat Mahomes led him in rush yards and attempts last week.
Really?
You can't have
That's
that.
no. That's nerd noise. That's nerd noise. I don't want to hear that.
That's relevant nerd noise.
You're crazy. It's all relevant nerd noise.
Eagles.
Eagles. Go Birds. Can you say go Birds?
At some point, I'll have to. There's a reason why, but I have a debt to pay, and I will pay it. Just not today. Falcons, Vikings.
I can't wait to hear more. Falcons at Vikings. Every single fiber of my being wants to take the Falcons. Every fiber of my being wants to take the Falcons. I want them. They looked good, man. And Drake London's so good. And Michael Penix was looking good. And Bijan so shifty. It's just, the first three quarters, if the fourth quarter did not exist on Monday Night Football, I'm taking the Falcons all day. But the Vikings, Kevin O'Connell, JJ, and that defense finds way to win. I'm going Vikings.
I'm taking Falcons on the road.
Really?
Because once again, I don't know if the Vikings won that game or the Bears lost it. A lot of things had to happen for that to turn out the way it did. And the Falcons were pretty close to beating the Bucks, who I've had to reevaluate, and so Falcons on the road beating Skull.
Skull. Oh, that. Do we hate that?
Yeah,
I've hated.
I don't even know what it means.
I hated that ever since we punched them in the face. They were doing it on our way to the Super Bowl with Nick Foles. It's a big old thing, right? So now we enter. Was that Sunday Night Football?
Yeah, there's 2 Monday games.
There's 2 Monday games. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Falcons at Vikings is going to be a fun Sunday Night Football. So we enter Monday Night Football, the first one. I love it when there's a 7 p.m. Kickoff, right? We have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans. The Houston Texans are favorites by 2.5 points. I am taking the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and I'm pretty damn comfortable in that. I'm pretty damn comfortable with that. This we're not winning over any Houston fans this entire damn show. I'm taking Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Texans.
So am I.
That's the most obvious pick.
I don't know if I would have felt the same way if the Bucks, and Baker Mayfield didn't, do what they did to the Falcons. So they've kind of gotten on my good list. And obviously, I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about the Texans' offense. And if it gets into a shootout situation, I'm taking Baker over C.J. Stroud, and that's a pretty easy decision for me.
You love Baker. I forgot. You love Baker Mayfield. To the new listeners, Zach's a huge Baker Mayfield fan. So I should have saw this coming, right, Zach? And now we have the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders. This is another one. So the Las Vegas Raiders are 3.5-point underdogs. The money lines are just minus 185 in favor of the Chargers to plus 154 for the Raiders. This is another one that I'm looking at it. I'm like, it should not be this close. It should not be this close. I think the Chargers handle it. But then I start thinking, and I start outthinking myself, and I'm like, Geno Smith had over 350 passing yards, like in like a debut. Like, I am gonna go the Los Angeles Quentin Johnstons at the Raiders. I'm gonna go with the Chargers here, but I'm not as confident about it as I thought I would be.
Chargers. I mean, they beat the Chiefs and they looked smooth. You know, I feel like the score made it seem closer than it was, but I feel like the Chargers could do whatever they wanted to do.
Whatever they wanted to do.
And Herbert was lights out. The running game was lacking, and I think that's going to get better as time goes. So, Harbaugh.
Boom. Those are our guarantee. If you want to win money, you ride mine, except maybe the Colts. And if you want to lose everything you've ever had, you follow Zach's picks. He's going to tally them up, and we're going to see how it shakes out. But we got to put our money where our mouth is. You want to do the Fab Five spreads?
Yep.
Golly. I was almost forgetting about what we were going for. So, okay, are you ready for mine?
Sure.
We're going to write. Are you writing these down, or are you just going to go back and listen to them? You look like you're writing them down, but I don't know if this is like a bit
I can't because I want to have DraftKings up while it's happening, but I'll probably go back and write them down on the whiteboard here.
As I scroll, you got a banter for white noise. I'm going to be taking the Green Bay Packers minus 3.5 against the Washington Commanders. I'm going to be taking the Cincinnati Bengals minus 3.5 against the Jaguars. I'm going to be taking the Rams 5.5 against the Titans. I'm going to be taking the 49ers minus 4.5 against the Saints. I'm going to be taking the Buccaneers plus 2.5 against the Texans. I'm going to be taking the Chargers minus 3.5.
Was that 5?
That's 5.
I thought it sounded like more. Give me the Patriots straight up, win outright.
You're not doing all spreads?
Well, they're a 1.5 point underdog.
Okay, yeah. But yeah, that's fine. Go.
So Patriots, Broncos, minus 2.5. I'll take Bucks plus 2.5. I'll take Chargers minus 3.5. So Chargers, Bucks, what'd I say?
You love the
Broncos, Patriots, right? Patriots, Broncos, Bucks, Chargers.
Find one more in there.
Am I crazy?
Do Browns 12.5. Do Browns 12.5. You want to. That's all you've ever wanted. You said it.
No. Patriots. Am I high? Patriots, Broncos, Bucks.
You said Chargers, Bucks. That's 4.
Chargers. And then fuck it. I'm gonna be a homer. I'm gonna go Jags plus 3.5.
Well, how is that a homer? You're gonna do
Jags? Because I'm the Jags fan.
You are the Jags fan. There you go. That's our lock right there, ladies and gentlemen. Those
Jags, Patriots, Broncos, Bucks, Chargers.
Absolutely incredible. The gusto you said it with. I'm sorry that you struggled to get all the way there.
I couldn't count to 5.
You were malfunctioning for a second. I'd have busted out for you to help you.
Well, I said, we didn't look at these at all before we really started. So, I hadn't even really thought about it.
That's the way to do it, though, because I feel like when you outthink yourself, and then you're analyzing, and then you're Googling, and then you're finding the ones that agree with you and the ones that don't agree with you. And it's like, no, we operate purely off of vibes here, and that's obviously why it's been working out so well. What else are we going to do? Do we have anything else we want to touch on, or we're just going to go, we're just going to dive right into week 2?
I think it's time to go.
You think it's time to go? Do you have a dad joke for us today, or we're going to put it... You don't? Those have been a hit. People have been loving the dad jokes. So, everybody, this is Brandon and Zack signing off with our completely accurate Week 2 predictions. We're really excited to see if Week 2 is what. So, Week 1 had 12 one-score games and like 3 like incredible like must-watch games. One to where the NFL uploaded it like the day after. If Week 2 is anything like that, and by these spreads and these money lines and these odds and just the vibes, it's probably going to be. We're in for a hell of a season. So, see you on the other side.
Yes, sir.